Hi everyone. So in this video lecture, we'll be covering geometry domain of SAT maths, and we'll be taking specifically circles related questions. So if you watch this video completely, you will be able to understand all the concepts related to circles. I've included all kind of questions that has been asked earlier in SAT. So the first topic that will be starting is equation of circle. So before we start solving this question, I'll just tell you a few things. How do we write the equation of circle and what is the information required? So a circle's to write the standard form of a circle's equation, we need just two information. One is the coordinates of the center and other is the radius. Let's say the coordinates of the center are h comma k and the radius of the circle is r. So using these three parameters, I can write the standard form of the equation this way: x minus h whole square plus y minus k whole square equal square of r. So this is the standard form of the equation of circle. So now using this, let's see what question we are given. So we have a circle A having equation x minus 7 whole square plus y plus 3 whole square equal 1. So in the xy plane, a circle B is obtained by translating circle A to the right 4 units. So if we just compare this circle with the standard form, you can see that in place of h you have 7 and in place of k you have a negative 3 here. So if we write it this way, this will be x minus 7 square plus y. We have a negative here, so we'll just try writing it the same way. So this is negative of negative 3 whole square equal 1. So comparing it with the standard form, h comes out to be 7 and k comes out to be negative 3. The center coordinates will be 7 comma negative 3. What are we doing with this circle? We are translating the circle A to the right 4 units. So when we make it go right 4 units, so what will happen? The x coordinate initially was 7 and negative 3, so it will be somewhere here. So making it go towards right by 4 units will just change the x coordinate of the circle. It won't affect the y coordinate. So the center that was initially at 7 negative 3, now making it go 4 unit this side, 7 plus 4 will be 11 and you will be having 11 negative 3. So now using 11 negative 3, I can write the equation of circle. This will be x minus 11 whole square plus y plus 3 whole square. The radius of the circle is unaffected, so you'll be having the same thing on the other side. So do we have something like that here? Yeah, we have. So it should be c then, x minus 11 whole square plus y plus 3 whole square equal 1. Okay, now to solve this question, one more thing we'll discuss first. If you're given a circle and you draw a radius, so at this point if we draw a tangent, this tangent and radius will be perpendicular to each other. So this is one of the property, that radius is always perpendicular to the tangent. Another thing, if you have two lines which are perpendicular to each other, the product of their slope will come out to be negative 1. So these two things we'll be using to solve this question. So let's see what are we given. You have a circle in the xy plane which has its center at negative 1 comma 1. The center of the circle is given as negative 1 comma 1. There is a line T which is tangent to the circle at the point 5 comma negative 4. So if you just extend this point here is 5 and negative 4, and at this point on the circle I'm drawing a tangent T. They want which of the following points also lies on the line T. I need to find what other point will be lying on this line T. So what I'll do, we'll first find the slope of the radius here. So how do we find the slope of the radius? Using the formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So taking the difference of the y values, you have negative 4 minus 1, and then x values, the difference of x values 5 minus minus 1. Negative 4, negative 1 will be negative 5, and this will be 5 plus 1, that is negative 5 over 6. So just now we discussed that radius and tangent will be perpendicular, so the slope of their product will be negative 1. We can say that whatever the slope you will be having for radius, tangent slope will be negative reciprocal of this. If you bring it here, so to find tangent slope, you just need to take negative reciprocal of that. So what will be the negative reciprocal of this? It's already negative, so negative of negative will be positive. And to take reciprocal of this, you just need to flip these numbers. So this will become 6 over 5. It means the tangent will be having a slope of 6 over 5. So now what we'll do, we'll check which coordinate out of these coordinates, which one will give you the slope as 6 over 5 with 5 comma negative 4. It's easy to work with the whole number, so we'll be starting with either B, C or D instead of starting with A. Let's start with B. So if I take my B point to be here, which is 4 comma 7, so you will be having one of the point is 4 7 and other point is 5 and negative 4. So using these points, I'll find the slope. So difference of y values will be negative 4 negative 7, that is negative 11, and difference of x values will be 5 minus 4, that is so negative 11 over 1. I want it to be 6 over 5, so that doesn't satisfy, so I can eliminate this B cannot be my answer. Now we'll check C. So if you take the point here to be 10 comma 2 and this point here is 5 comma negative 4, let's find what slope are we getting taking these coordinates. So difference of y values will be negative 4 negative 2 and difference of x values will be 5 minus 10. Negative 4 negative 2 will be negative 6 and 5 minus 10 will be negative 5. So we are getting 6 over 5. So C will be the correct answer because C gives you the same slope as we figured out it to be 6 by 5. So you need to make sure that you know these two properties, that radius is perpendicular to tangent and product of the slope is negative 1. Okay, let's move to the next question. So here we are given that you have points Q and R lie on a circle with center P. So let's draw a circle and the center, let's mark it as P. The radius of the circle is 9. Triangle PQR has a perimeter. So you have Q and R will be somewhere on the circle. And if you just join these, you will be getting a triangle PQR. And triangle PQR will be, for that perimeter is given. So I can write the perimeter as PQ plus QR plus PR equal 31. The radius is given as 9. So these PQ and PR both are 9. This will be 9. This will be 9. The only unknown length that we have is QR. And this is what they are asking. What is the length in inches of QR? So we have PQ as 9. QR is what we need to find. And PR is also 9. So this is now a very simple equation we can solve. 9 plus 9 will be 18. 18 plus QR is 31. So QR will be just 31 minus 18. And if you take the difference, this will come out to be 30 units. So B will be, the correct answer will be 30. Okay, so that was simple one. Okay, now in this question, we are given that there is a circle having center O and the arc length ADC. So this length is given as 5 pi and this angle is given x as 100 degrees. What is the length of arc ABC? So ABC is this length over here. So for this, we need to know that this arc length is proportional to the angle. Greater the angle, greater will be the arc length. So we can actually form a ratio over here. So the angle subtended by arc ADC is x, which is 100. So I can write this x degrees over the length, which is 5 pi. And if this is 100 degree, I can find the angle subtended by this arc length. If this is 100, that will be 360 minus 100. That complete angle will be 360. So if we just subtract 100 from 360, we'll be getting 260. So the angle is 260 now. And I need to find the length of arc ABC. So arc ABC is the only unknown thing here. This is also given. So you have 100 degrees, 5 pi. So how are we able to write this ratio? Because we know that, let's represent it with some variable, let's say L, length. So the angle subtended and the arc length are proportional. They're going to be in the same ratio. So using that concept, I can just simplify it now. So this 0 and 0 gets cancelled. And if you just cross multiply this, 10 times L will be 26 times of 5 pi. And 26 times 5 is 130. 130 pi 10L. So you just cancel out this 0 and length will come out to be 13 pi. So arc ABC will be having a length of 13 pi. Okay. Now we are given the graph of x square plus x plus y square plus y is a circle. Okay, and we need to find the length of circle's radius here. The first thing we need to see is this given equation, is that the standard form? So if you try to recall, the standard form looks like this: x minus h square plus y minus k square equal r square. But that doesn't look in that form, so it is not the standard form. So I cannot say that this is square of radius. So I need to convert that. So we'll be solving this problem using two methods. One is the algebraic way and other is using Desmos will solve. So let's first go with the algebraic way. So what you will do to convert that to the standard form, just write x here and see the coefficient of x. What do we have with x? 1. Take half of this and write it and enclose that within this bracket and square that. Do the same thing with y. Write y over here. The coefficient of y is half. So write it here and enclose that in a bracket and square. On the other side, what we need to do, write this thing whatever was given as it is, and along with this you will be, as we have made some changes on the left hand side, same way we need to make changes on the right hand side. But what changes we need to make? Whatever you have added here, take a square of that and add to the other side. Half square and half square. Let's simplify this. This is 199 over 2. The square of half will be 1/4. A square of this half will also be 1/4. So 199 over 2. 1 plus 1 will be 2, 2/4. And 2/4 is just 1/2. So we have 199 plus 1 divided by 2. Okay, that finally becomes x plus half square plus y plus half square. And that is 199 plus 1 is 200 by 2 is 100. So now this is in the standard form. I can find coordinates, radius, everything that is required. But the question is asking radius only. So this thing over here is square of r. So square of r is 100, and I know that 100 is a square of 10. So comparing, r will come out to be 10. So the radius of this will be 10. This way you can also figure out the coordinates of the center. So whatever you have here, the coordinates of the center will be, just take negative of this. This will be negative half and negative half. Whatever you have here, change sign of these numbers. That will give you the coordinates. But this took a lot of time. I'll tell you the Desmos way. So you will just move to Desmos and plot this equation there. So what we have is x square plus x plus y square plus y equal 199 divided by 2. This is what we have. Whenever you plot an equation of circle, you will be getting the circle, and on this circle there will be two very important points. They will give you the diametrically opposite points, not these ones. These are the y-intercepts, but if you see these points, these are a little above this. This point is like a little below, and this point is 9.5. This is something around 9.48. They're very close, but the point that is above will be the diametrically opposite point. You can see this is negative 10.5 and that is 9.5. So the circle is 9.5 above y-axis and 10.5 units below y-axis. So to find the radius, what I'll do, I can find the length of the diameter now. I can find the length of diameter. So how can you find this length of the diameter? You can just add what you have above y-axis is 9.5 and what you have below is 10.5. This gives you the length of the diameter. And if we just divide it by 2, that will be the length of radius. So we just need to add the absolute value of this y. We are not like taking the negative. We just need to see how much this total length is. So we added, it came out to be 20, dividing it by 2, that gives you 10. And that actually is much easier way, but still we worked it out the algebraic way as well. Okay, so let's move to the next question. So here we have, there's a point F lies on a unit circle. So this question requires the understanding of unit circle, what a unit circle is. So unit circle is known as a unit circle because the circle's radius will be 1 unit, and usually it will be having its center at origin 0, 0. Since the radius is 1 unit, we have these points here. This will be 1 0, this will be 0 comma 1, and this will be negative 1 0, and this will be 0 negative 1. So this kind of circle is known as a unit circle. You have a point f, and f is having the coordinates 1 comma 0. Okay, so it means that this point is f. Point G is the center, so let's write that as well, and has coordinates 0 comma 0. Point H also lies on the circle and has coordinates negative 1 comma y. Now negative 1 comma y, we are sure that x value is negative 1. So let's move, where do we have negative 1, x, and y value is the variable here, but it has to be on the circle. You can see that there is no other possible coordinate having x negative 1. If you move a little above, you won't be on the circle. If you move a little below, you won't be on the circle. So then it has to be this point only. The h point will be negative 1 comma 0. So they have just given this y variable just to be a just to confuse you. Okay, so we have marked all the given information, which the following could be the positive measure of angle FGH. So FGH, you can see that all these three coordinates, they lie in a straight line. So FGH angle, G is given in the middle, so that will be the vertex. I want this angle. Positive measurement, I will be going this way counterclockwise. So we know this is 180 degrees, and 180 degrees is how much? 180 degree will be pi radians. Okay, so do we have pi here? Oh, we don't have pi. So what to do in this case? It means we need to think a little more. So this angle can be measured in multiple ways. You can, this is pi. If we just take another round, if we just complete another round here, how much will it be? You have completed one circle, that was 2 pi, and then one more pi. So I can represent this angle as pi or 3 pi. 3 half circles means 3 pi. One half circle, the second half circle, third half circle will make it 3 pi. We still don't have 3 pi. You can just keep going the same way. If we just complete one more circle, this will be 4 pi and then 5 pi. You can see I'll keep getting the odd multiples of pi. So let's see, do we have odd multiple of pi? This is an even multiple of pi, and this one is an odd multiple of pi. It has to be. It has to be d then. So that can be considered as a good question. So you need to have understanding of the unit circle as well as how do we measure angles. Okay, so this is done. Let's move to the next. Okay, so we are given this equation of circle. The graph of the given equation of the circle, we already know just by looking at it, we can figure it out. The point A comma B will be lying on the circle. Which of the following is a possible value of A? So A means the x coordinate. What can be the possible x coordinate on this circle? So let's try to solve it algebraically. So whenever you square something, whatever you have, if you square that, this thing will always be greater than or equal to 0. The least value that it can attain is 0. Otherwise, it will always be positive. Okay, if I take A to be negative 16, A is actually the x value. So I need to take x as negative 16. So replace this with negative 16. Negative 16 plus 4 square. You will be having negative 12 square. Negative 12 square will be 144. And with 144, you will be adding something. What you are adding is either 0 or more than 0. So if I add 0 or more than 0 with 144, it can never be 121. So this A is not possible. Let's do the same thing with, if you do the same thing with negative 14, how much will that give? Negative 14 plus 4 is negative 10. And square of negative 10 is 100. With 100, if I add 0 or more than that, it can be 121. So there are possibilities. It means that B will be my answer for x equal negative 14. You will be able to find the points in the circle. If you take 11, if you check these points, we don't need to check, but still you can, just to be sure of the concept, 11 plus 4 will be 15, and square of 15 is 225. So adding something positive will make it greater than 2 to 5. It cannot be this. The same way it cannot be 19 as well. So that is the algebraic way. So this algebraic method actually gives you a good understanding of the concepts, what actually is happening here. And Desmos is definitely going to be a lot easier than doing all this stuff. But it doesn't like build up concepts using Desmos. So Now using Desmos, what I'll do, the first step will be to plot this equation there. So we have x plus 4 whole square and then what do we have? Let's quickly check it again. Y minus 19 whole square. And that equals 121. So this is the circle that I'm getting. Now we need to plug in the given values of x. So the values are given for a, but a is actually x. So let's take x equal negative 16. If I make this x equals negative 16, do we have any points in common? You can see that for x equal negative 16, you don't have any point in the circle. But if you make it negative 14, then you will be able to find all these points. These points are on the circle, and there will be infinite points lying in the interior of the circle. What do they want? They want a point. The circle on the circle. They want a point on the circle. Okay, so you can see that we have 2 points on the circle. This way we can solve it using Desmos. Okay, so let's move to the next one. Again, we have this equation of circle, which is not in the standard form, but we learned a way where we can convert this in the standard form. Define circle in the xy plane. What are the coordinates of the center? And they just want the coordinates of the center. So what we need to do, write x. What is coefficient of x? 20. Take half of this, write it here. So x plus 10 whole square. And the same thing with this y. You have 16, take half of 16 will be plus 8. On the other side also I need to make certain changes, but you can see that we are interested in the coordinates of the center. So we don't need to see what's happening on the other side. That will only be required when you need to find the radius. Plus 10, make it negative 10, plus 8, make it negative 8. So negative 10 and negative 8 will be the center coordinates. This is how we can do. I'll also tell you the Desmos method of finding the coordinates. So we have x square plus 20x plus y square plus 16y, and on the other side we had a negative 20. So this is the circle we are getting. As I mentioned that on this circle you will be getting 2 very important points that will help you find the radius, and the coordinates will be these diametrically opposite points. Okay, if you click here you will be getting these coordinates there, and so we have these coordinates. So the x value, if you just join these points, you will be getting the diameter, and center will be lying on the diameter only. The x value is negative 10. So the center coordinate x will be negative 10 only. What about y? How can you find that? So to find y, what you will do, you will simply add up these values and take midpoint. How do we find the midpoint? Add the coordinates and divide by 2. So 4 and negative 20. So if you add 4 and negative 20, how much will that give? Negative 16. Negative 16 divided by 2 will be negative 8. So we are getting the same thing, negative 10 and negative 8. So that Desmos method. Okay, let's see this one. So we have a point O. Point O is the center of the circle, and the measurement of angle OAB is given as 30 degrees. So where do we have OAB? Here. This is 30. Length of OC is 18. OC is the radius, so R is given as 18 units. I need the arc length AB. Okay. So to find this arc length, I need to see what angle is subtended by this arc at the center. We are given that this is 30. You know that AO and OB will be equal because they are the radii of the circle. So if AO equal OB, then this is an isosceles triangle. If this angle is 30, that will also be 30. So basically angle AOB plus 30 and 30, they all will add up to be 180 degree. And now I can easily find angle AOB. So angle AOB is going to be 180 minus 60. So angle AOB is equal to 120. So now we know that the angle subtended by this arc is 120 degrees. How can you find arc AB? So arc length, how do we find the length of the circumference? Length of circumference is 2 pi r, but that is the length of entire boundary, entire circumference. I just need this length of arc. So I need to see what fraction of circle do I have on this side. So that we can easily find using this angle. So you can see we have 120 degrees out of the complete angle 360 degree. 120 over 360 is 1/3. So we actually have 1/3 of the circle. So 1/3 times 2 pi, and the radius is given as 18. So 3 times 6 is 18. 6 times 2 will be 12 pi. It means that 12 pi will be the length of this arc. So in all such questions, you just need to find what fraction of circle do you have and multiply it with the formula for the circumference. Okay, so now we have this question. There is a circle in the xy plane having diameter endpoints. The endpoints of the diameter are given 2, 4 and 2, 14. And equation of circle is given this way, where r is a positive constant. We need to find the radius here. So 2, 4 and 2, 14. If you put this on, okay, so we can plot these coordinates here. So a equal 2, 4. Let's label the coordinates as a, and the other coordinate is b, that is 2, 14. You can see for these coordinates the x value is same, x value is constant here, so it's easy. They are the diameter, the endpoints of diameter, so it's easy to find the length of the diameter. In this case it will just be the difference of y values. This is at a height of 4, that is at a height of 14, so difference of 14 and 4 will be 10, and so diameter's length will be 10, and if you take half of that, that will come out to be 5. So diameter is 10 units, and half of this will be 10 over 2, that is going to be 5 units. It means the radius length will be 5. This time it was easy to identify that the points lie in a vertical line. What if the points were not in a vertical or horizontal line? In that case, we can use the distance formula. Not the algebraic one. You can simply write distance over here. And as I've labeled the points as A and B, you need to just type in the points as in these points. This formula will help you find the distance between any two points if the coordinates are known. Okay, so let's yeah, so we are done with this one. That one was simpler. Let's try this. So there is a circle in the xy plane having the equation x plus 5 whole square y minus 5 whole square. It means the coordinate of the center are negative 5, 5, and the radius will be, this is square of the radius will be 2. There is another circle having the same center. Okay, so same center as A. The radius is 2 times. The radius is 2 here. Then other circle will be having double of this. Double of this will be 4. So it will be having, the radius will be at 4. And the equation of the new circle is given as this way. What do we have on the other side? We have k. And what do we usually write? We write square of the radius. We don't just write the radius. So don't make the silly error. Instead, you need to square this. So k will be square of 4. Square of 4 will be 16. So the value of k will come out to be 16. Okay. Now we have this very simple question. What is the diameter of the circle if the equation is given? So if you know the standard form of the equation, it can be easily done. I don't know why they mark such questions as difficult ones. So here this is given 16, so r square is 16, so r will be 4, and if r is 4, then diameter will be double of this. So double of 4 will be equal to 8. So it's going to be B. Point O is the center of a circle, and the measure of arc at RS is given as 100. What is the measure in degrees of its associated angle ROS? So that's a very simple question, just based on the basic definition of measurement of arc. How do we measure an arc? If you are given a circle and you are saying that there's a 2 points will be there on this, and we are saying this measurement of arc RS is 100 degree. So what does it even mean to say that RS, the measurement is 100? It means that this will be subtending, this will be making an angle of 100 degree, and that's what they're asking. So the question simply based on the definition. that measurement of arc is 100. What is the measure of the angle associated? So angle associated with this arc RS will be same as 100, will be same as the measurement. So it's going to be 100 degrees only. So nothing, no calculation, just basic knowledge of the definitions required. Okay, again we have an equation of a circle and we need to find the radius. So that's very simple. R square is 121 and this is a square of 11, so R will be 11. So 11 is the radius. Okay, let's see this one. There is a circle in the xy plane, has its center at -4,6. Okay, let's try drawing that. You have this is the center coordinates. Line K is a tangent to the circle at the point -7, -7. So you will be having some point here, -7, -7. And if you join this, you'll be getting the radius. And if you draw a tangent, we know that the radius tangent, they're going to be at 90 to each other. We need the slope of this line K. K is what? K is the tangent. So we discussed this in one of the questions that radius and tangent will be perpendicular to each other and the product of their slope will come out to be -1. We have these coordinates, so I can easily find the slope of the radius first. Let's find that. So using the formula y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1, we can find the slope. y2 minus y1, -7, negative of -6 divided by x2 minus x1. X2 is -7, negative of -4. So that will be -7 plus 6 divided by -7 plus 4, which is -1 over -3. That comes out to be 1/3. So slope of the tangent will be negative reciprocal of this. Reciprocal of this will be 3 over 1 and negative will be -3. So that should be -3. Okay, let's have a look at this one. We have a circle having center coordinates O and point R and S lie on the circle. Okay, let's try drawing this. And it's given that angle ROS is 88. So if R is here and S is here, they will be making this angle which is 88 degrees. This is what we are given. What is the measure of angle RSO? Okay. So in this triangle, if you see, this RO and OS are going to be, we have this triangle, which is, this is R, this is S, and this is O. So RO and OS will be equal. They are the radii of the same circle. So if you have two sides equal, then two angles will also be equal. So if this is X, that will also be X. You can just add all these equal and equate that to 180. So that will give you 2x will be equal to 180 minus 88. So 2x will be equal to 92. So dividing both sides by 2, I'll get that x is equal to 46 degrees. And this is what they're asking. The final question was related to RSO. This is RSO x. So it's going to be 46. Okay, again we have this equation which is not in the standard form. And this is the equation of a circle. They want the radius. So what should we do now? We know the algebraic way, we know the Desmos way. So we can do it using any of the method. So let's go with the Desmos method. So you have 2x squared minus 6x. And then we have 2y squared plus 2y. Equals 45. We are only interested in these diametric opposite points. The x coordinate is 1.5. So we know that x has to be 1.5. Oh, they are actually asking for the radius. So we need to see this. It's 4.5 above and how much? 5.5 units below. It's negative 5.5, but we just need to take the absolute value, magnitude of that. So the diameter's length will be the sum of these two values, 4.5 plus 5.5. And we need to just divide it by 2. So that gives you the radius as 5 units. So it's going to be 5. If you want to use the algebraic method, you won't be wanting, we know that Desmos method is easier. For that, you will have to first divide it by 2. The coefficients of x square and y square have to be, they need to be 1. So it will be x square minus 3x plus y square plus y equal 45 divided by 2. The next step will be half of negative 3 will be negative 3 over 2. Half of 1 will be 1 over 2 only, equal 45 by 2. You will keep it as it is, and on the other side you will be adding the square of these. Negative 3 by 2 square and 1 by 2 square. This entire thing when simplified will give you a square of r, and it should come out to be 25, and then r will be 5. This is how you can do it algebraically. Okay, so we have a circle in the xy plane which is having its center at 16, 17 and has a radius of 7k. So radius is 7k, x minus 16, y minus 17. So it has to be square of this on the other side, 49k squared. So that's going to be b. So b will be correct. Okay, so let's move to the next question. So we have this circle here, which is defined by the given equation, x square plus y minus 6 whole square equals 7. Circle B, which is not given here, will be having the same radius, but it's translated 96 units to the right. Okay, 96 units to the right. So what is the center coordinate for this one? You can write it this way, x minus 0 square, y minus 6 whole square equals 7. So this 0, 6 is the center coordinates. If you make it go 96 units to the right, the only thing that's going to change is the x value. Instead of being 0, it's going to be 96, and y will remain same, 96, 6. So I can write the equation of that circle as x minus 96 square plus y minus 6 whole square. What about the radius? Radius will remain unchanged. Whatever you have here, it will be the same thing on the other side. And this is given as a. So a is actually going to be 7 only, and they want 4 times of 7. Final value of 4a will be 28. So even this translation thing wasn't required. The final question was just about finding 4a. When you translate something, not only circle, if you translate any kind of shape, it only the dimensions won't be changing, the size will remain same, so the radius will be unaffected here. So the correct answer is 28. Okay, this problem, we have this equation x square plus y minus 1 whole square equal 49. So this is r square is 49, so r will be 7. Circle B is obtained by shifting circle A down 2 units. Okay, so which of the following will represent the equation of circle B? So let's find the coordinates of center of the given one. You have x minus 0 square plus y minus 1 whole square equal 7 square. So the coordinates are 0 and 1. If you make it go down by 2 units, 0, 1 will be somewhere here, 0, 1 this is. When you make it go down by 2 units, the y value will change. It will become from 0, 1 to it will be 0 and negative 1. X will remain unchanged. So 0, negative 1, it means you will be having x minus 0 square plus y plus 1 whole square. Whatever you have, change their sign. So x minus 0 square is x square. We should be having, yeah, so this will be correct. X square plus y plus 1 whole square. Okay, what is the value of 10 of 92 pi over 3? So for this question, we don't need to do much. You can simply just put it on Desmos, and we have 10 of 92. For pi, you can just write pi, that will make it pi divided by. So it's coming out to be negative 1.73. So we are getting the answer in decimal form, and none of our options in the decimal form. So we'll take these values also to Desmos and check what is the decimal equivalent. We can start with the first one. That was negative square root 3. So negative square root 3 is negative 1. We're getting the exact same thing. So it has to be the first option. Okay. That's a good question. Let's try this. So we have a circle is having center G, and M and N these points lie on the circle. MH and NH are tangent to the circle. Okay, so you have this circle. G will be the center, and there are two tangents drawn, and there is one common point. That is only possible when you have this point in the exterior of the circle. If you have this edge here in the exterior of the circle, only then two tangents can be drawn. So one of them in edge M and other is edge N. So these MH and NH will be the tangents. If you join M to this G point, that will be the radius. M to N, that will also be radius. We know radius and tangent will be 90 degree. So this much, by reading this information, we can draw this kind of figure. Now what are we given? That the radius of the circle is 168. Okay, so this length here is going to be 168. Okay, so this is 168. This will also be 168. If you join G to H, you can see this GMH will be a right triangle where GS is the hypotenuse. Opposite to 90, you will be finding the hypotenuse. Okay, so what are we given? The perimeter of this quadrilateral. Which quadrilateral? G, M, H, and N. These four sides, they make up a quadrilateral. The perimeter is given as 3856. I need to find the distance between the points G and H. So what's the distance between G and H? This hypotenuse is what we need to find. Okay, there is one property that if we draw tangents from an external point, they are going to be equal. So if this is X, that will also be X. And just by looking at the symmetry of this figure, you can figure it out that MH and NH will be having the same length. So I can write X plus 168 plus 168. They will make up the perimeter of this figure, and that should be equal to 3856. So let's first find the length of the tangent. So X plus X, let's put it on Desmos. So X plus X will be 2X, and then we have 168 plus 168, and that was equal to how much was the perimeter? 3856. So 3856. So we need to zoom in. 1760 is what we are getting. It means that this length of tangent is coming out to be 1760. Let's look at what values do we have. So we need GH, and GH is the hypotenuse. We know that hypotenuse will be the greatest side of the triangle. So it has to be greater than 168, greater than 1760. So it cannot be this. It cannot be 1752. It is less than 1760. It cannot be exactly hypotenuse has to be the greatest side. So without doing any further calculation, I can eliminate the first three options, and we're just left with D. If we were unable to eliminate, if there were options that were very close to each other and even greater than 1760, then you had to use the Pythagoras theorem here. We know the two sides. To find this third side of the right triangle, the hypotenuse, you will have to use the Pythagoras theorem. But it's not required as we are able to eliminate. So we need to take care of these things. Now we have a circle having central coordinate O, and point A and B lie on the circle. Measurement of arc AB is 45. So let's try to draw the circle. How will it look? The point A and B will be like this, as they're making an angle of 45, and the central coordinate is O. They have given you this arc length AB. This arc length AB is 3 inch. What do they want? The circumference. Circumference is the total length. So I can form one. We know that arc length will be proportional to the angle subtended at the center. So if 45 degree gives you 3 inches, then how much will 360 give? 360 will give you the total length. This complete angle is 360. So corresponding to this, what length you will be getting? I just need to solve this equation. So that will be 45L is equal to 3 times 360. So if you just simplify that a little, L will be 3 times 360 over 45. This is what we need to simplify. Again, we can solve it using Desmos. So that will be 3 times 360 divided by 45. So it comes out to be 24. So 24 will be our answer. Which is the following equation represents a circle in the xy plane that intersects the y-axis at exactly one point. Okay. So the question requires the circle which intersect the y-axis at exactly 1 point. It just needs to touch the y-axis. So one of the method will be to just each of the equations on Desmos and see which of the following will be having just 1 point in common with y-axis. Other method, let's try to analyze what are we given. So we have the circle having the coordinates, center coordinates is 8, 8, and the radius. What's the radius? In all these you have a 16. So in all these r square is 16. Then I can say the radius will be 4 units. So you have 8, 8. Okay, let's make it 4 and 4. And on the same distance, moving 4 unit away. This, so somewhere here 8, 8 will be there. So taking 8, 8 as the center, if I draw a circle having 4 unit radius, it will be something like this. It will just come 4 unit this way, 4 unit above, 4 unit below, 4 unit to the right. So it won't be intersecting any of the axes. So it cannot be, it can't be A. What about B? You have 8, 4. So 8, 4 will be this coordinate. And the radius is 4 units. So I need to come 4 unit down, 4 unit up. I'll take 4 unit this way and 4 unit this way. So my circle will be passing through these points. This one is touching the x-axis at 1 point, but not the y. So B cannot be my answer. So let's remove this as well. Then you have this one having the coordinates 4, 9. So 4, 9 will be somewhere, x is 4 and y is 9. So 4, 9, it will be a little above this. So the radius is 4 unit. I need to come 4 unit this side. This distance is 4 only. So when you come 4 unit, it must be having a point here. 4 unit below this will be somewhere here. 4 unit above this and 4 unit to the right. The circle will be passing this way. So this is the required circle. This is the required circle. So C will be my answer. And if you don't want to analyze all these things and don't want to do it this way, you can go to Desmos, put it there, and you will be able to figure out which circle will be satisfying the given condition. Okay, so C should be our answer. So we have the same thing. Okay, let's have a look at this one. So x minus 6 whole square y plus 5 square equals 16. That's the equation of a circle with radius being 4 and the coordinates being 6 and -5 of the center. The graph of the equation is a circle. Point P is on the circle and has coordinates 10 and -5. Okay. So on this circle, there will be a point P. PQ is the diameter of the circle. What are the coordinates of the point Q? So in this question, what we can do, we can put it on Desmos. X minus 6 whole square and y plus 5 whole square equals 16. Okay, so that will be giving a circle, and let's see, where do we have that circle? So this is our circle. Also, they have given you one of the coordinate, and one of the coordinate is 10, -5. So where do we have 10, -5? We can. Oh. Okay, let's put it again. So x minus 6 whole square y plus 5 whole square equal 16. And the coordinate that we have is 10, -5. So this is what we're given. So we can simply see that the diametrically opposite point to this will be this one, and the coordinate will be, it will be -5, and this one here will be 2. So simply by observation, you have 2, -5. So question based on simple observation, nothing much, no calculation required. Okay, so circle in the xy plane has a center at -5, 2 and has a radius of 9. And the equation of the circle is given this way. Okay, so this time the center coordinates are given as -5, 2. So -5, 2, I can write the equation as x plus 5 whole square plus y minus 2 whole square equal square of 9. And if you expand this, then you will be getting this equation in this form. And then we'll be just comparing the coefficients. So for this, how do we expand? If you have something of this form a plus b whole square, that gives you a square, 2ab and b square. And if you have a minus b whole square, that gives a square minus 2ab plus b square. So if you expand this, how much will that be giving? So x square 2ab, 2 times 5, 10 times x will be 10x. The square of 5 is 25. The same thing here, the square of y, and 2 times y times -2 will be -4y. And then the square of -2 will be 4 equal 81. What are we interested in? We are just interested in this constant term. This is what they're asking, the value of c. So let's collect all the constant, bring these to one side. You have 25 plus 4. When you bring this to the side, -81. So this is what we need. So we need 29 -81. So let's do it. So 29 minus 81, -52. So -52 will be the answer. Okay, so in the xy plane, there is a circle having center C with coordinates h, k. Point A and B lie on the circle. And A has coordinates h plus 1, k plus root of 102. ACB is a right triangle. What is the length of AB? So what are we given? A circle having center coordinates given as h, k. There is a point on the circle A which is having the coordinates h plus 1, k plus root of 102. What is the length of AB? There will be another point B, so that all these 3 points collectively they make up this angle ACB comes out to be 90 degree. So coordinates of C, h, k. These are the coordinates of C, k. Let me write it a little clearly here. So to find this length AB, we need to find this radius first. Once we have this radius, we can easily find the length of AB. So how can we find that? We can try using distance formula for this. Let's go with the algebraic method first. So if you have two coordinates, what is the distance formula? We can easily find the distance of two coordinates by taking the difference of x values and squaring that, and then taking the difference of y values and squaring that. So if you take the difference of x values, h minus 1, the difference of these will be h minus 1 square, and difference of this will be k minus root of 102 whole square. So that is -1 square is 1, and -102 square will be this 102. You have a root here, so root square root will get cancelled. You will be left with root of 103. It means here we have this triangle where this distance is root of 103. This distance will also be root 103. This is 90. This triangle is actually a 45, 45, 90 triangle. The reason these two side lengths will be equal as they are the radii of the circle. So being radii 45, 45, 90, we have the relation between the sides. If you are given two of the sides, these side lengths will be equal, and the third side will be root 2 times of this. So if this is A, this is A, this will be root 2 times of A. It means my length AB is going to be root 2 times of root of 103. That will be root of 206. The root of 206. Do we have it here? Yeah, A option will be correct. Okay. Now, if you wanna use Desmos for this, you can do that as well. So for that, what you will do, you will put this coordinate there. The coordinate C was given as C equal, write it as h, k. So write h, k, and we can add a slider for these values. We'll see that this is actually not going to impact C. This actually H and K can be anything. There was another point A, and that was given as H plus 1, and the other point was K plus square root of 102. So let's label these points. Let's try moving these points. So if I change H to any other value, you can see the distance between these points doesn't change. The same way, if you just move K, it will, the point just get, this line keep getting shifted upwards, but the distance doesn't change. It means H and K can attain any value. That won't make any difference. So let's then make it equal 0. You simply make it equal 0. And the same thing we can do for this one. We have the distance formula, so you can just type distance here, and we want the distance between C and A. C comma A. So how much is that? We're getting 10 point something. But still, once we find this distance, we'll have to like draw this figure, and we have 10 point something. You will have to use this information that this is going to be our 45, 45, 90 triangle. Or you can think of using Pythagoras theorem, that will give you the same result. So my third side will be 10 point, whatever the decimal value we're getting, root 2 times of this. So let's multiply this distance with root 2. So let's multiply it with, so 14.35, this is what we're getting. Now I need to check the options, which option will be giving the same thing. Let's start with the first one. You have root of 206. So 206 gives you the exact same thing. So this way we can do it using Desmos. So then you won't have to know this distance formula and even use this one. Let's move to the next question. We have this equation x square plus y minus 2 whole square equal 36. And this B is obtained by shifting circle A down 4 units in the xy plane. Which of the following represents circle B? So what are the coordinates of the center of this one? It will be 0, 2, and the radius length will be 6. When you shift something up or down, the radius doesn't change. The only thing that's going to change will be the center coordinates. 0, 2 will be somewhere. This is x is 0, and you have 2 here. Bringing it down by 4 units, it will be here. That is 0, 6. So it should be having x minus 0 square plus y minus 6 square. And 36 should be on the other side, and it has to be B. Okay, that one was simple. Points A and B lie on a circle with radius 1. Arc AB has length of pi over 3. What fraction of the circumference of the circle is the length of AB? So what do we have here? You have a circle and the radius is 1. So AB is given, this AB length is coming out to be pi over 3. So what fraction of the circumference of the circle is this length AB? I need to see what fraction of circle do we have here. So we know that, how can you find the fraction of the circle? So we know that the angle and this length of arc are going to be proportional to each other. So we can set up an equation for that. So let's say, let's find this angle theta. So theta divided by 360 times 2 pi r. This will give you what? This will give you the length. Theta over 360 is the fraction of circle that we have, and 2 pi r is the total length, and that will give you the length, which is given as pi over 3. So this pi and pi gets cancelled. You can replace this r with 1. So theta over 360 is equal to times 2 is equal to 1/3. If you bring it to the other side, it will be 1/6. And this theta over 360 is the fraction. This is what we want. So theta over 360 is coming out to be 1/6. So my answer will be 1/6. So there is a circle A defined by the equation x plus 2 whole square plus y square equal 9. Is the result of shifting circle A down 6 units and increasing the radius so that It's 2 times the radius. Okay, you can see here the radius is given as 3. So double of 3 will be 6. So square of 6 should be 36. I should be having 36 on the other side. So it cannot be B or D. It has to be either this or this. Now also we are making it go down by 6 units. So when you bring it down by 6 units, X doesn't change. So X doesn't change. The center coordinate X will be -2 only, but Y will become -6. So you'll be having X plus 2 whole square and Y plus 6 whole square equal 36. Do we have it here? We have X plus 2, Y plus 6. Yeah, so it's going to be A. Okay, a circle is given in the XY plane having this equation. Which point does not lie in the interior of the circle? Okay, for this we can use Desmos. We can put it on. We can put this equation there, X plus 3 whole square. X plus 3 whole square plus Y minus 1 whole square equal 25. Which point does not lie in the interior? So we can just check. So we have the point -7, 3. It's in the interior, so that cannot be my answer. Then we have -3, 1. Let's change this one only. -3, 1. Where that's also in the interior. 0, 0. We can see that 0, 0 is also in the interior. So we're just left with the last option D. 3, 2 won't be in the interior. So D will be the answer. So I think this is the last question here. In the XY plane, the graph of the given equation is a circle. What is the length of the circle's radius? Okay, again we are given this form. So you don't have to isolate these, like bringing it to the one side, as long as you're having everything in terms of X and Y. So we can put it directly here and we'll be getting our circle. So we have X square plus 14X plus Y square equal 6Y plus 109. So this is the circle. They want the circle's radius. So for circle's radius, we need to use these diametrically opposite points. So you have 15 point something and then -9.92. Okay, 15.92 and -9.92. I need to take the absolute. What we can do, we can bring it here and do the same thing with this. And then I just need to add these up, the absolute value of these, and I'll take this one as well, but not the negative. I need to take the absolute value and then just divide it by 2. So this is what we're getting, 12.9. But all our answers are given in the form of radical. So let's check root of 109. How much is that? So it's okay, so that won't be correct. Then the next one is 149. Maybe this is correct. 149 is still smaller than this. 167, then it has to be 167. 167 is exactly what we are getting. So this way we can solve using decimals. Other method is that algebraic one that will give you the exact same answer that we have here. So you can go either way, whatever you find easy. What is the value of sine of 42 pi? So sine of any multiple of pi is always 0. So it's going to be 0. And if you don't know that, you can just put it on Desmos. We have sine and then 42 pi. So that's coming out to be 0. So that will be. So finally we are done with all these questions. You can see there were certain questions that required a little bit calculation, and otherwise like most of the question could be done using either the algebraic methods or the Desmos. Even some questions they have just marked as difficult ones, but they're not as difficult. So here we are done with all questions related to circles. If you need this PDF, you can let me know. I'll share it with you. This is all that we had to discuss.